This is a tougher video for me to do today because I had a really rough night. A lot of pain came up. A lot of things came up. I don't know why this freaking Cocaine Eric Clapton song is in the background, but whatever. So this is my new doll. She's wonderful. I got her on sale. Look at her freaking, whoa, she fell. Look at her crazy ass guitar. It's so cool. And she's beautiful. I guess she's like a Barbie rock and roll doll. So yeah, she is gonna be sharing. She doesn't have a name yet. She's gonna have to have a name that I give her. I think for right now, I'm just gonna call her Teal because of her beautiful hair. So yeah, sit down, make yourself comfortable. Let me get her back her guitar. So I'm gonna let her share about what's going on tonight for me. So I definitely, I would say shorthand, freaked out tonight, but it's not really what happened. What happened was stuff catches up with me, as it does with all of us. Oh, there's baby mama. She's got to be in the video. Stuff catches up with us, and you know, psychiatric distress, as I've learned to call it, is something that our society has not dealt with, has turned a blind eye to. And then, you know, people go on these shooting sprees and we wonder why. And of course, many of them don't have mental health issues. Well, the majority of people with mental health issues are not violent. It's very important that I stress that. But many of them clearly were in psychiatric distress. And, you know, I think about how many veterans were losing a day towards suicide. And it makes me realize that part of the stigma associated with mental illness, the stigma, the judgment, the refusal to understand, passing judgment without knowing, you know, treating people like they're crazy when they're just in pain, and refusing to see them as human beings, but, you know, calling them names like crazy and turning our hearts and our eyes and our minds away from them creates a buildup of pain, and within that person as well as within our society. And then, you know, these suicides with our veterans is absolutely unacceptable, absolutely. And we wonder why collectively. And it's because there's not permission in our society to be in pain. And I know that that's changing, and I've seen things overall get so much better throughout the years, and there's so many people, public people and public campaigns to thank for that, and people that have stuck their neck out to make a difference in changing this approach, lack of approach, and stigma and attitude and misunderstanding and of how we treat people that are dealing with pain that may manifest as mental illness, may manifest as cutting on ourselves, on oneself, may manifest as hurting others. Although, like I've emphasized, the majority of people with mental health conditions are not violent. You know, but not allowing people to be in pain and giving them an outlet, a safe, healthy outlet to process that and get help. Wouldn't it make sense that people would go around destroying each other? I mean, to me, that's a logical conclusion. So, my heart has been hurting tonight, and my goal with this video is to share my pain in hopes that it will give somebody else the same permission to do the same in a healthy, safe way as possible. And I don't know what it was, if I didn't get enough sleep last night, because I didn't. I went to bed really late. And then I, got my second wind and couldn't sleep, even with my medication. And so I think it's a combination of being tired, of being premenstrual, of not eating enough, and before I made this video, I was sure to not take care of number one. So actually, my dad had to make my food because I was too upset to even, cook, but he made a meal for me. I ate. I took the medication that I needed to, and just kind of worked on getting stable enough before I made this video, but I was in tears because I was feeling that psychic pain again that reminds me how much work I have to do on this planet. Because I know I am not alone. I need no more evidence, and yet the evidence keeps coming in every day. There was a beautiful young lady, R&B singer, and I cannot remember her name right now. I believe it starts with a K. But she attempted suicide, and I didn't read the whole story, and I don't even know that I care to, but I got enough information, and it sounds like she was being, maybe she made some choices around relationships, maybe breaking up with someone or going out with someone else, or whatever the circumstances were. I don't know exactly, but the point is she was horrendously tormented and tortured online, as we know so many people, so many women have been, and young men as well, especially in the LGBT community. I think about Jamie from my home state of New York, who killed himself when the bullying got just too much, and that inspired Lady Gaga to start the Born This Way Foundation. Lady Gaga actually spoke up when I was at her art rave concert in Denver, and she spoke up for people who have mental illness. I remember she said something about supporting us, and it meant everything to me. And the work that she's done is extraordinary. So Demi Lovato, there's so many people who have really just put themselves out there to say, look, I've struggled with either suicidal ideation or attempting suicide. As this young lady I mentioned, the R&B singer, attempted suicide and was in the hospital. And I don't know, I'll read more about the story and find out perhaps just from her perspective, but it sounds like that the pain got to be too much. And I was bullied in 6th grade and off and on throughout school. And, what happened to her reminded me of what happened to me in high school, which involved a whole dating thing and an ex-boyfriend, and people just bullying me over the situation and ostracizing me over it when his behavior was just deplorable. He was the one cheating on me. And that's kind of another story, but, he was physically acting out on his friends, and I ended up physically acting out on him, which is completely unacceptable as well. But the point was that me, the woman, I was the one who was ostracized, not him. And they called me crazy, and, that hurts to the core. So I felt a buildup of that psychic pain today. And I believe her name's Keela, but I don't know if I'm saying that right, the R&B singer. I just know that I'm reaching my heart and my thoughts out to her. And dang it, I'll get her name right in another video. But I was really kind of dealing with my own stuff tonight, so I'm a little off, and that's okay. But I want to send my love out to her and my prayers, and just know that, while you may have been abandoned by an entire army of people that you thought were your friends or you thought were your fans, you have a whole army of people that will now come up around you to support you. People like me who actually give a crap about your life and your livelihood and your actual value and worth as a human being, as a child of Goddess, of God, of the Creator, someone who deserves to live and even if they've made mistakes, as we all do, deserves to be forgiven and certainly does not deserve to be bullied and harassed. She will come back stronger, just like Demi Lovato did, who went through issues with men and boys, and I don't know if she was cheated on like I was or what, but, you know, self-harm, I believe she may have attempted, but she came back 100 times stronger and is now an advocate. And her careers and her voice are 100% stronger as a result. So that's what I have to say for that young singer who's, I believe, in the hospital still. She made it out, thank God. A whole army of people that actually mean something, that value you and know their own value, would never treat other human beings that way, bullying people and, you know, harassing someone that's in pain, will come up to support her. And she will be so grateful that all those people that are so cruel are out of her life and her fan base. So I got your back, sister. I believe that we all stand shoulder to shoulder. Those of us who have psychiatric distress, no matter what background we come from, particularly those of us who've dealt with suicidal ideation and urges, self-harm, those who've attempted, those who haven't. The point is that degree of suffering, we stand shoulder to shoulder. And I still stand with my brothers and sisters that we've lost to suicide. They stand. Although they might not be visible by the plain eye, they stand shoulder to shoulder with us. And we still hold their hands. And that was what the things that really got to me tonight when I was in so much pain. We were visiting my mom at the home. She has early onset dementia. It's another video. And it was fine. Everything was fine as far as I was concerned. Here comes another kitty. Hi, Tiny. Hi, Dezette. She's my fellow warrior companion animal right here. So she's checking on mommy to make sure I'm okay. Tiny, I'm good, but I'm trying to make a video and you're in the way. Okay, thank you. So we were at the home tonight with my mom, and it hit me. And, you know, it could have been a myriad of things that triggered it, but the bottom line is I needed to get the pain out. And that's the biggest message I wish to get across today. I could feel just that psychic pain like a knife within me digging, and just the anger towards feeling, it all started from inadvertently shrinking one of my pieces of new, beautiful pieces of clothing that I'd gotten, and I just was so angry, and I was so upset, and I was so obsessive, and what is wrong with me, and why do I do stuff like this over and over? And then I just realized that the stress of life gets to me so much, you know, and I need to be able to say that out loud and just say what it is. Just say what is hurting with no judgment attached to it. The stress of life gets to me, and it gets to be so hard to keep my mind on all different things at once, on my career, on my videos, on my fucking laundry, you know, and it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I told my dad that I needed to go, and he helped me get through the moments as best as he could, even though he's dealing with his own depression, and helped take care of me, and, you know, so I could be here safe and sound and make this video for you. As I was sitting in the worst throes of the pain and letting some of the tears out, although I know I need to let a lot more tears out, and hopefully I will do that either on the videos, because crying is one of the bravest things I know, one of the quickest ways. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid to just let that pain come out, drain out. The most dangerous thing is to hold it in, and then, you know, it could result in taking it out on ourselves and others. But you know, with the psychic pain tonight, I got to be thinking about the friends I have lost, and I thought about my friend Tabor that we lost to the disease of addiction this past summer. I thought about my friend Eric, who just passed away this past Christmas at the age of 27. And I don't know how we lost him. His family has chosen to keep that private, which is very understandable, because he actually was a gymnastic coach for these young children who, Absolutely. Oh, here comes Dizette again. Tiny, I'm trying to make a video. Eric was a gymnastic coach to these young children in Castle Rock, Colorado, and was such a mentor and role model, and would take them fishing. And I mean, I saw I went to his memorial and the tributes that these children wrote for him. And this little kid's kind of scribbled handwriting wrote on one of the posters, "You were like a second dad to me." You know, so how we lost him is between God and his family. Not really a concern of mine, but I do know that he had bipolar disorder, and you know, whether or not that contributed, oh God, it's just my irritability is present tonight. Whether or not, you know, that was a factor, I don't know, but that's, like I said, that's none of our business as far as I'm concerned. But I sat down at the table to do my prayers, to thank, you know, my thanks for food before I eat. And I had this palpable feeling. I mean, it was thick. It was like the air was thick with the presence of angels and loved ones. And I felt almost like this small army of people standing, putting their hands on my shoulders, standing around me. And it could have been, you know, my grandparents that have passed over, Eric and Tabor. I knew they were with me. And I went and I thought, well, you know, you sure? I kind of need to know. I need you guys' support. And I went to go delete some stuff in my phone, so I had room to make this video. And sure enough, you know, pictures of Eric and Tabor were right there. And it was like my validation. And so this video is for those two friends that are not with me now. And the one thing that Eric's mom said to me at his memorial, she looked at me, Rael, who ran the program, Eric, which stands for Everybody Remains in Control. That was her theory, and she has a whole program and a presentation that she gives for people with bipolar disorder and their loved ones, because Eric had bipolar, and they had learned all sorts of ways of coping and dealing, and I mean, he was essentially in remission. So, at least the last I knew of, you know, but I could feel Eric with me. Anyhow, I was saying, when I was at his memorial, his mother looked at me, Rael, with those beautiful, piercing blue eyes full of tears, and she said, "You need to keep Eric's legacy alive. We need to keep Eric's legacy alive. I need your help to do that." And I thought, the best way I can do that, the way I can begin now, is by sharing my pain as a person diagnosed with bipolar. It doesn't really matter, diagnosed with some, you know, form of mental illness, and show ways that I can express that pain and let that pain out and not hurt myself or others, and let it out so that there is a relief to my suffering, because I know Eric suffered a lot with his bipolar. You know, and for my our darling friend Tabor that we lost to addiction, I feel the same way, you know, some sort of way that we can, of course, addiction is so complex in its treatment, but just at least a piece of it is being able to talk about the pain before it swallows you alive, and being able to say, I'm hurting. If you relapse, being able to say, I've relapsed, feeling like there's permission, because that's my biggest concern, feeling like there's permission before it's too late. The other thing I wanted to mention tonight, and who I wanted to make this video for, I think I've mentioned it earlier, is our fellow veterans who are suffering. And I think the last number I heard was 22 a day to suicide. Is that right? I can't imagine the pain they're in and the things that they've seen. And my pain is raunchy. It's real. You know, we keep it 100 here. We keep it real. This is where we get real. No bullshit. No love and light, unless that love and light is genuine. And it's genuine here, because part of the light is the darkness. I heard a beautiful quote tonight. I don't know if I'm going to get it right. It was on NCIS by that actor. What is the beautiful actor? Shamar Moore. I think his name, he said that there was some quote, and I'll get it right, say it in another video, but it was something that the darkness, something like the darkness cleanses where the light cannot tread. The darkness cleanses where the light cannot tread. I'm gonna look it up, but dang it, it summed it up for me, because when I embraced the darkness, the pain, the angst, the rage that I was feeling, because I felt so disabled. I felt like, you know, just such a mess. And I've struggled for so long, and it's eaten, the struggle, the stress has eaten at me. And the people I've loved, the people I've worked for, almost like a cancer. And that's why mental illness is like any other illness, you know. And something I had read tonight, one of the comments about this R&B singer that attempted suicide that I mentioned, someone said, and I don't think they even meant it in a hurtful way, but they said, you know, thankfully I'm stronger than that. Like it's fucking strength. Like it's fucking strength. You know, don't even get me started, because I will just fucking go off. You know, but I think about my mom with diabetes, and, you know, when her blood sugar drops, for example, it's just a kind of good example, or with her early onset dementia. And, you know, my grandmother died of Alzheimer's. It is genetic, at least in part, as is mental illness. And when you have that genetic predisposition, that vulnerability, it's a very different story. Especially when you've had trauma in your life, especially at an early age. These things make us more predisposed, more vulnerable to things like depression, suicide attempts, suicide ideation. You know, and so I was saying, like, if my mother gets dementia, you know, can you imagine if I'd say to someone else, well, I guess, you know, your mother must be stronger because she doesn't have dementia. Or she must be stronger because she didn't have such a dip in her blood sugar and need insulin. I mean, it's ignorant and it's cruel. And I'm getting better at educating people instead of just raging at them, because I've had a long time in this thing. And a lot of people, like these people that are coming back, and especially younger people, you know, I got sick in my 20s, and these younger people that are coming back, our veterans, that are blowing their fucking heads off every day, it's got to stop. So I want to stick my neck out and say, I'm here for you. I love you. I respect you. And if I love my country and I'm as patriotic as I say I am, then what the hell am I going to do about it? We all have our part. We all have our role and our gifts and skills and talents that we can give. And for me, I can give the gift of sharing my pain with you and asking that you can walk through it with me, hold my hand through the computer, hold my hand, you know, through the kind of invisible ethers. And then I hope it will give you the courage or the strength, that's not kind of a tough word, but how it will give you, it will feel like you have the hope to do the same thing, so that you don't have to do something horrible, like take your own life or someone else's. And this is for Eric Reddick. This is for Tabor Olson, because I know that they want me to do something powerful with my life, because that's what they did. And they went out doing just that, still helping people while they were suffering. So many people they helped while they were suffering. And I could feel the might of their souls with me tonight. Beautiful, beautiful young men saying, go Nicole, you go Nicole, you don't let those voices stop you, you don't let the bullying from 6th grade, and hearing those voices and seeing those faces and hearing the whispers again. Don't let it stop you. You know, you need to know who matters and who doesn't. And the people that matter are the ones that actually care. And then I can show people that I care. And I have hope today. I have tremendous hope. And I might make another video about the rage if I feel like that's helpful, because people need to be able to get their anger out in a healthy and safe way. We need to be able to talk about it. But right now I just wanted to share this. And I can't reiterate enough how much I want to reach out to veterans. Although I'm a civilian, my father is a veteran. as well as my grandfather. And they do not have PTSD the way that so many of people do today. And many of the Vietnam vets and a bunch of vets have had that, you know, from combat, because my family wasn't in combat. But I have so much respect for veterans, women and men in service, and I just want you to know I salute you, and I want to help in any way I can to help you know that we welcome you with open arms, and we want to help save your life. It's a long road ahead, but shit, I know it gets better. It's gotten better for me, and that is a fucking miracle. Pardon my language, but that is a fucking miracle, because I have been hospitalized numerous times, as I've mentioned, and I have had some of the most horrific thoughts and urges, for another video, that would just bombard me. And see, that doesn't happen today, because I would say that I have more control over my mental condition than it has over me today, and it's taken a long time to get there. There is hope, my friends. There is hope, my loved ones. I'll keep making these videos, and my hope and prayer that, yeah, I will make a difference. I am making a difference. Walking through that darkness, and sending you my love. Dan Kehlani, signing off.